WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. Not sure about this one. Port Charlotte. We have the new SYC Colin 01 2013 Islay single malt Scotch whisky. 10 years aged in oak casks. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Whiskey base 262939. Now, this is a 10-year-old whiskey. This is 54.4% ABV. Over here in Germany, we have about a price of 119 euros, which is fairly steep for a 10-year-old whiskey, even though it is cask strength. It is not single cask. This is a batch. Who knows how many barrels or how many bottles we have here? Is this 1,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? Is it a million? Of course not. So, but if it's 1,000 or 10,000 bottles, makes a difference in what the availability worldwide will be. So now I'm going to go to the website here from bruichladdich.com. So Bruichladdich has their normal Bruichladdich unpeated whiskey. They have the Port Charlotte 40% ppm, 40 ppm, and they have the Octomore way out there. All right, so what we have here is their cask exploration series number 7. I will read to you what the other 6 were. It all started off with a Port Charlotte. They always put the year of the distillation first. So 2009. It was a 9-year-old whiskey, so that was 2018. And it was the Port Charlotte 2009 MC. And it's always 01. So, and that was Marsala casks. Then the same year, they brought out the Port Charlotte. That's what I started with, the 2010 MRC. That was actually a 7-year-old Bordeaux cask. MR for Mouton Rothschild. So they like French wine casks here. Then Port Charlotte 2010 OLC. Always C at the end. Stands for cask. OL Oloroso. OL. Then we had the Port Charlotte 2011 PAC. So it's an 8-year-old red wine cask from Palac, PA from the region of France. Then we had the Port Charlotte 2012 SC. It was a Sultan cask from the Bordeaux region. Then Port Charlotte 2013 PMC, which I missed. That was the Pomerol casks from Bordeaux. And now we have the Port Charlotte 2013 SYC. We say in America Shiraz, and they say Syrah, Syrah. Exactly the same type of varietal of grapes from France. So, 7 cask exploration series. Now they were always, I thought they started off at like 80 euros, and they've now moved up to 120 euros. That's 50% increase in price. So you take the 80, 40 on top, 50%. That's okay. That's inflation. All right. So that's what happened from 2018 to 2024 in 6 years. I'm going to give this at the moment really a D for value for money. Go buy yourself, if you haven't, a Port Charlotte 10. Port Charlotte 10 is going to run you around 50 euros over here in Germany. That's a product that is beautiful. You're going to have first and second fill bourbon just like we have here. And you're going to have various wine casks in there. And they just mix it all together and put it out. And Port Charlotte 10 is a great, great whiskey for what you get for the money. All right, so what we have here, I'm back at the website now, bruichladdich.com. We have 100% Scottish mainland barley. Now, Bruichladdich actually has the plan to have over half of their barley now grown on Islay. They want to do everything possible on Islay. Now, they do use bards, malting and Inverness on the mainlands, and here we have 100% Scottish barley. Mainland barley, not Islay barley for this back then, 10 years ago. So it is heavily peated with 40 ppm. It was distilled here 2013, bottled 2024, so 10 plus years. And interesting enough, the maturation profile, they tell us here, is initially filled into 75% first fill, 25% second fill bourbon barrels. That was back in 2013. Then they were recast into first fill Syrah casks in 2008. So 5 years later, so half of the life of this whiskey was in good bourbon barrels. The other half was in first fill Syrah casks. Does that make a difference? Probably. 54.4% ABV. Now, the official tasting notes here on the website say the following. And I'm going to read them first, and then I'm going to smell and give my own here. I'm doing it the opposite way around I should. Caramel sweetness is immediate on the nose, followed by a medley of fresh fruit and a subtle hint of peat smoke. I get fruitiness and a little bit of peat smoke. The notes of strawberry, red apple, apricot jam, and mixed berries from the Syrah casks come to the front. I would go with strawberry. I don't have the red apple, and I definitely don't have the apricot, but I do get that mixed berries, a little bit cranberry, a little bit here of raspberry, a little bit of currant mixed in there. So, underpinned by a combination of oak and lingering smoke. Gentle spice from the oak, ginger, marzipan, honey complement the fruity character, heightened with bonfire-smoked oak sweetness. Now, in my German video, I was really looking for how to identify the smokiness. Is it bonfire? Is it burnt bacon? Or is it like smoke house? What do I get here? And it has a little bit of an earthiness. It has a little bit of that smoked bacon moment, and a little bit of the bonfire. No ashtray, and I like a lot. So I'm going to continue with the palate. They say we should actually get here charred oak and elegant barbecue peat smoke coat the palate, beautifully balanced with sweet fruit. I'll take my first sip. What I like about this, it's fruit forward, and secondary is the peat smoke. Now, I just did my video here about the Balakin. The Balakin is primary, secondary, and in the third row, peat smoke. And then in the fourth row, there's a little bit of a port moment here. This is opposite. This is actually primarily fruitiness, the good wine casks, and secondary, a peat smoke that is there. A little bit of a lemon peel peat smoke, and a little bit of a earthiness, and maybe even a little bit of a maritime moment. So it says here, vibrant notes of candied peel. I don't know what peel they're talking about. Fresh mango, don't get that. Brown sugar, maybe. Sweet bubblegum, definitely don't get that. And a lightness and complexity cutting through the smoke. A drop of water. Oh, I did this in my German video as well. So let's do this in my English video. A drop of water draws out the aromatic oak. As lavender, don't get the lavender. And herbal notes, yes, combined with smooth honey, ground ginger, and roasted coffee beans. All right. And the finish? This is a C+, B- whiskey. It's good. I like it. The finish, it says officially here, while the sweetness of fruit and oak remain, a gentle wave of peat smoke is unmistakable on the finish. Toasted Brazil nuts, coconut, don't get that, cacao powder bring a delicate creaminess while a hint of dried seaweed lingers. And that was that maritime moment that I got there. This is actually very good. I thought I had a sample. I'm not going to compare it to anything. I almost always compare it to something. But I thought I had a sample of OLC, don't have it. So, B-, C+ for taste. Now, if you're a Port Charlotte fan, you're going to give this actually probably an A-. All right, this is one of the better of the, at least in my opinion, of the cask exploration series. Very, very well done. What is your favorite of the cask exploration series? I'll go through the letters one more time. We have the MC, the MRC, the OLC, the PAC, the SC, the PMC, and now we have the SYC. Isn't that complicated? Why C's? It's just cask. We know every single one. Why 01 each time? Is there really going to be an 02? I can't imagine, but who knows here. All right, so that's that. Green bottle. Some people say it looks like a oil barrel. I'm not sure. It's rugged. It's sturdy. I'm not really sure if they need to use that much glass in the bottom that they use here for the heftiness of this, the weight. But I think the Scotch Whisky Society said they want to reduce the weight of the bottles on average by, 20% by 2030. Port Charlotte is going to have an easy job of that. So it's very good. 2 sentences here. Jim McEwen was actually the guy who did everything. He trained Adam. And Adam, I always forget with H. His name is Adam Hennett. He is a great guy. Now, Adam actually went back to Islay after dropping out of biology courses at the university in Scotland and came back to the island, also where his colleague Alan Logan was born and raised just like him. So these two guys, one is the Alan Logan, was the distillery manager. Adam is now here the master distiller. And he had big shoes to fill. I mean, Jim McEwen is a legend. All right? And so Adam started off as a tour guide with absolutely no knowledge of whiskey. So he went through all the different stadiums of making whiskey. And in 2012, he actually became the assistant distillery manager. And then he learned more and more. Now, he is from Islay. He will probably die on Islay for all I know. He built his own little house here, very close to the warehouses of Bruichladdich, together with his wife, Amy, and their kids, their daughters, and so on. And he has done so many great things here. Bruichladdich actually employ over 60 people from the island. Some of these people are actually also physically challenged, handicapped. And they are trying to actually get more and more of their barley from the island. They bottle on the island. They store the barrels on the island. They do everything possibly locally except for malting. That is done at Bard's in Inverness to exactly their criteria. They even get some of the peat from the island and send it over there and have done some of their Heavily Peated as well. So that's going to be kind of cool. And then he was the guy who started this cask exploration series with Port Charlotte. Since 2002, they get their malt here from Bard's in Inverness. They have that understanding of that cold smoking of the peat. They can actually, to the ppm, get everything dialed in by mixing unpeated and peated whiskeys here, malted barley together to get the right carousel and the phenol content that they want. And yeah, I think Bruichladdich is a great place for making whiskey. The Bruichladdich, a lot of people love it. Port Charlotte, many people think that's it's no longer Ardbeg 10. Port Charlotte is now the beacon, is the guardian of Islay. And their Octomores are legendary, expensive, young, and peaty. So, what is your favorite Port Charlotte product? This gets a recommendation from me, but as I said, if you have not yet tried the normal Port Charlotte 10, do that first. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, and the SYC01 is interesting and worthwhile in my opinion. Bye-bye.